So I want to do another video breakdown of Ex-Patriarch. This time he did a video about child custody and child abuse. And he did a video exchange with Miss Fanny Adams, who is an excellent TikToker if someone wants to watch her content. I've put her link in the description below. And in this video rebuttal, Ex-Patriarch did something that really, really bothers me. He lied about math, and he used math in a misleading way. And this is a very common thing that disingenuous people and manipulators do. So I'm going to show you the video that he did, and then I'm going to explain why it's a lie.
And they found that mothers were more likely to physically harm their children than fathers. Mothers at 49% and fathers at 40%.
Except the study doesn't say that. Here is that study by Major Harlan Carlson, and here is the line that you're talking about. And what it says is the person most often responsible was the mother. And what's the problem with then concluding that that means moms are more likely to commit abuse?
But this doesn't take into account the fact that the children most likely spent more time with the mother.
And when you do take custody into account, you get the very comment that you're replying to and taking issue with, that men account for a third, or in the case of this UK study, 40% of abuse, but only have 20% of custody, putting kids at 3 times greater risk of abuse when they're with their fathers. And yet, despite knowing all of this, you're in your own comments saying things like this. They are drastically lower, 3 times lower than what they should be. And while I appreciate you...
So that is just not how math works, and that's an absolute lie. What he's trying to claim is that because men only have 20% of custody, but 40% of abusers are male, therefore males, fathers, are disproportionately more likely to be abusive. Again, that is just not how math works. How much custody you have has nothing to do with whether you are an abuser or not. So whether you have 1 day of custody, 20 days of custody, 50 days of custody, or 365 days of custody in a year doesn't change the fact that you are an abuser or you are not. So if you have custody for 20 days of the year and you are an abuser for those 20 days, you are an abuser. If you have custody for 200 days in the year and you are an abuser for those 200 days, you are still of an abuser. You're not any more of an abuser just because you have more opportunity to commit abuse. Think of it in a week scale. Let's say you have a mother and a father who are divorced and they are sharing custody. The mother has custody 5 out of 7 days. She has the week. The father has the weekends, 2 out of 7 days. The mother's 5 of 7 days represents 71%. The father's 2 of 7 days represents 29%. So the father only has custody 29% of the time. The mother has custody 71% of the time. Whether one of them is an abuser doesn't have anything to do with how many days they see the child. So the fact that the mother has 5 days and the father has 2 days, if one of them is an abuser, then they're an abuser. It doesn't matter if they have the 2 days or the 5 days. The abuse is the abuse. So the statistic that 49% of abusers are mothers has absolutely nothing to do with how many more or less days of custody they have. So in the same way, the fact that men are 40% of abusers but only have 20% of custody doesn't mean that men are more likely to be abusers, because the number of days that you have custody doesn't change the fact that you're going to be an abuser or not. So the rates of abusers between men and women is not affected by the opportunity in which they have to be abusers. So this was a misrepresentation of math that really bothered me, because I really don't like it when people do that. It's something that very disingenuous and dishonest people do. So I will give full disclosure. I have been in touch with Ex-Patriarch. I sent him an email about doing a video together, and he did come to my Discord server, which he was removed from because frankly he's just not trustworthy. But that's a video that I've really wanted to react to because it's just so dishonest and it's so disingenuous, and it's something that people need to be aware of, how stats can be manipulated and how disingenuous people can make very misleading videos that when you watch for the first time sound like it makes sense, but when you look at the math, it just doesn't. So anyway, I'm Blue Orange 22. Thanks for watching, and believe me, I have more coming on this guy. I am not done by any means.